do you ever get advice from people that sounds really, really great and is kind of geared towards something that you're working on? However, they don't give you a general baseline or basic instructions. Like, okay, so I taught myself algebra because I thought that I needed to. And for that, I basically started out with at least some basic written instructions. Then I went to using, say, recipes because, to solve for X, okay, I need to cut this I need to cut this 6-person recipe into thirds. So I need to solve for X to find a third of this for every single ingredient, which really helped. And I had a tactile object that I could hold in my hands that I could, use. A pinch of this, a dash of that. But what I'm getting is a lot of vagary, and I know that I sometimes give advice, and I'm trying very, very hard not to be vague about it. First things first, try this thing. Here is what I've tried, here is what works, here is what doesn't work. Sometimes it gets to the point where you're getting advice like, well, you need to try this thing. Okay, that's really awesome. Now give me a general baseline on how this works so that I can work with that. And then you hear crickets. So, what do you do? Well, I suppose lately it's writing it out and hoping that I will give myself the idea, because I'm basically, okay, sometimes writing on paper can be beneficial for me, because what I do is I'm hoping that seeing it in black and white and having put forth the effort to use a pen and paper will help and give me a basic understanding. And I've heard of the wonders of using handwriting and paper, so maybe here's what I need to do, here's what I can't keep doing, and here's where I've been, and this is where I want to go. And this is, I don't know, a list of good things that I've discovered today. So I guess today, if you're going through a lot of crazy, maybe try handwriting and paper, even if only you can read it, or even if it's done in chicken scratch and you have a moment where you can't actually see it. So here's the answer, smartass. What do I do so that I can actually do this thing? Don't give me, you need to do this, without actually giving me a general baseline, because there's a few things that I never quite learned. I can sew somewhat because it was done in occupational therapy and in physical therapy, so I knew how to hold on to things like a pen or a fork or a knife, so that I could use it later on. I do handwriting so that I don't forget how. And I love the smell of paper and ink. It's comforting. I suppose I should probably try to work with the advice that I know works, at least for me, and go from there. So I suppose if you're working on something, give yourself a general baseline. Try not to focus on what's negative if you can. Instead, okay, I saw this thing and that really brightened me up considerably. This thing happened and I feel a lot better having done that. Or, well, that really sucked and I hope, well, gosh, that really, really sucked. And it's okay to, I suppose, have a moment where all you can say is, okay, that sucked. Yeah. And so that's today, but there's a bunch of other things, and so I suppose I need to learn to give advice that I know works and try to give a baseline on how to make that work. And first things first, focus a little bit. So here we are. Good luck to you. Good luck to me. Knock on wood. And be awesome to yourself. That's not advice. That's just a wish that I have for everyone. And yeah, you're loved.